Hey/X/. I'm going to tell you a tale I've never told anyone else. This story is only known to 3 people. It is the tale of Jason, the fucker who died an unsung hero. It happened around 5 years ago, and now his deeds are becoming undone and I need help. I came here around the same time that he died. I asked a few questions about it, but I never posted the entire story until today. Be me in 2007. Your typical college junior. My best friend is my GF's little brother, Jason. He was in 10th grade when he died. I met my GF, and now fiancé, through him, and we were tight as brothers. Around 7 years ago, reports started filtering in into our little town about 2 spooky for me stuff. Travelers gone missing. Hitchhikers found mutilated. Screams and whistles at night. Your usual paranormal stuff, but it all revolved around one thing. The forest at the edge of town. Our town is pretty old. It was, according to legend, a Native American community, before the Pilgrims came and settled here. At the edge of our town is this ancient-ass fucking forest. I don't know how big it was, the forest stretched on for miles and miles. It had always been a spooky place. Apparently it was revered by the natives for some reason, but it never had anything too spooky. Until 7 years ago, when everything started to change. Our town had always been peaceful, low crime rates, good clean streets, etc. But 7 years ago, spooky shit described above started going down en masse. We even had a public service announcement warning us not to approach the forest at night because bodies were found there. Of course, us being stupid high schoolers, it just made us want to go there even more. One night, at a high school bonfire, the topic of the forest came up. A group of my friends, including Jason and my GF, got dared to go into the forest and do some stupid shit there. Being who we were, we decided to totally do it. Biggest mistake of my life. It was around 2 a.m. when we finally got there. Spooky and quiet as fuck. There were 6 us. Me, my GF, Jason, my GF's best friend, and 2 more of my friends. Being the fucktards we were, we each grab a flashlight and start running into the forest. As we're walking in, something hits us. Not physical, but it's as if the air just changed. It's a lot colder when we hear the first noises of shit going down. Something rustles in the bushes behind us. Shadows begin to creep around us. The moonlight is completely blocked by the canopy when the noises start. It's a low, guttural moan. Loud as fuck, it literally paralyzes us. Then it starts to come out. It looks like a giant fucking spider. We can't see it, but it's easily 10 feet tall. Then, one of us screams and the illusion is broken. We all run like niggers from the White House. As we scream and start running, I catch a glimpse of the thing's face. It was human, of that I'm completely sure. GF's friend confirmed it. We're all crying and running when we get into the car, slam the door and prepare to bust the hell out of there. Then, before I start the car up, my GF asks me something that haunts me to this day. "Anon, where's Jason?" I go totally still. Jason is my best friend. One of the guys in the car shouts, "Fuck him. Get out of." Before he finishes, I rip out the keys and sprint back to the forest. I'm scared as fuck, but I'm not leaving my best friend behind. I shout and shout for him, but no reply. Then I hear rustling in the bushes again. I don't know why, but I have this awful feeling that I don't have much time. I start running like a Jew after his gold, screaming Jason's name. Then, the thing appears. I didn't get a good look at it before I run the fuck out. Then, I see it's not that thing, but a fucking bear. Okay, no. We don't have fucking bears here. I get a good look at it and I scream. The fucking thing has a human head, completely devoid of eyes, its mouth open in a perpetual scream. And guess what the fuck is lying at its feet? Jason in the fucking fetal position. I grab a branch and throw it towards it and thank the almighty it moves away and starts running away from me. sprint to Jason and lift him up. He was always a fucking lightweight and I run faster than I ever have to the car. The car is still where I remember it. I throw him in the driver's seat and sit on him, start the car and get the fuck back to town. Eventually we all clam down and drive into a McDonald's. We're all tear-stained and freaked out. Jason's the worst off though. His eyes are bloodshot, he said his head hurt like fuck and he was pale. We all eat and calm down except Jason. He claims he had no appetite. In the end, we all agree to never speak of this shit again. In hindsight, I should have seen Jason's nervousness and his hesitance when we agreed. Maybe then I could have saved him. After that day, Jason was never the same. A little backstory on Jason would be helpful. He was 14 years old and 10th grade. He never got anything less than a 4.0 GPA. He was a born genius and a certifiable scientist. Whenever he saw something, you could always tell he was thinking how to take it apart, figure it out and improve it. He did excellent community service, joined clubs, had a something IQ and was the model son, student and friend. Slowly, over the course of the next week, he stopped hanging out with his friends. He began to spend too much time in the public library and on the internet. His parents were concerned, as was his sister, but he maintained his grades and did all of his club shit, so what could they say? A year passed and Jason and I began to drift apart. When he got home from school, he would lock himself in his room and not come out. His sister told me that he might have started drugs because she could have sworn that she saw some white-powered shit lying around the house. His parents even got more concerned when his grades started slipping, still well with 3.84.0, but when you have a son who's perfect and he slips up, I guess you lose it? And fights broke out between them. Then the things from the forest got even worse. It began to spread into town, although for some reason, nobody commented on it. Dead deer and other things began to appear all over town. The police did fuck nothing. We got no media coverage or national attention because we were a small-ass town. Until the body of a woman, the mom of some girl in our class, was found smack dab at the edge of the forest. Someone told me that she had been raped and there was shit and urine all over her. Police said the trail went cold and we had another useless public service announcement. People became much more subdued, and it seemed to be perpetually cloudy. Animals just left their owners, never to be seen again. Everyone got scared. Things weren't looking so good. On 21st of June, 12:48 p.m., I got a call. I remember the time to this day. It was my GF, Jason's older sister. She was crying hysterically and telling me to come over. I grab my keys and drive over. I see that her car is missing and I start to freak out until I see her in the doorway, calling the police. After she's done, she tells me what happened. Jason woke her up, at around 12, and tied her up with tape and rope. He said he was going, and that she wouldn't see him again. That he loved her and that he was sorry for the past year. And he wanted her to pass on the message to me as well. I go pale. He told her he was going to the forest to end it. Then, he took her car and drove off. She managed to struggle out of her binding and called me. Without another word, I get in my car and go to the forest. Jason_what_the_fuck_r_you_thinking.png. I get there and spot his sister's car. I follow the trail. Then, in a clearing, I find him. webfuck.jpg. It's Jason, but totally changed. He's a foot taller, there is ink all over him and before him lay 100 or so bags of white powder, with something like metal in them. Not to mention that there are candles and papers all over the clearing. Jason, what the fucking hell? He looks at me, he's surprised. Hey. What the fucking hell, man, hey? Is that all you have to say? What the fuck are you doing here? He looks at me and for some reason, I get the feeling that I'm not looking at Jason alone. We need to finish this, and you need to leave. Looking back, I didn't realize the significance of the "we" he used. Then, before I can answer, I hear a rustle in the bushes and have a flashback. Rustle in bushes. Asha.jpg. Jason looks alarmed too, and before I can say anything, he throws a gun at me. What the fuck? I back away from it, and when it falls, pick it up. It's a Glock. What the fuck, Jason? Where did you get this from? He looks angry. Then, he shouts, "Get the fuck out of here," and pulls out another gun. That gun won't work on me. If you see any of those things, then shoot them with the powder in the gun you have. This one, he adds, waving his gun, is meant to kill humans, so get out of here before I shoot you. Fuck. Is this Jason? The same guy who wouldn't hurt a fly is threatening to kill me. Fucker is bluffing. Fine then, go ahead and shoot, and I start walking towards him. He visibly falters. What? You heard me, shoot? He grips the gun and puts it down before sighing. Before he can say anything else, I ask, is that fucking salt? I am, obviously, talking about the white bags behind him. He gives me a stare and starts muttering to himself before saying, "No, you idiot. It's fucking potassium nitrate." Now, I've never been good at chemistry, but I know what potassium fucking nitrate is. The fuck, Jason? And that fucking metal is? He gets annoyed and shouts, "Not fucking important." His voice sounds odd. Then, he walks over to me and begins to talk. "Look, I'm sorry about this." I reply, "Look, Jason, you can apologize after we." He cuts me off. "No, not that. I'm sorry about this." "About what?" Then, he whips around and hits me on the head with the gun. I fall, but I'm not unconscious. Then, I can't move. I'm literally paralyzed. He starts to pull out some stuff from a box and makes a circle of some white powder around me before saying, "This is salt." Then, he whips me on the head again, and this time I black out. When I wake up, my vision is black, but I smell something. I open my eyes and panic. Fire. Explosions are going off all around me. Jason set the fucking forest on fire. Then, I hear it. A scream. Not a human scream, but the scream of something that shouldn't be here. For some reason, I can tell it's a scream of pure pain. Then I hear more. It's as if the entire forest is screaming. I panic and run. The entire place is on fire, but I manage to get back to my car. I turn back and look at the forest. Fire is everywhere. The forest must have gone on and on for miles, but it's all on fire. And the worst part, the screams are still coming. I can see figures in the fire, moving and running in a futile effort to rid themselves of the fire. But none of them manage to leave the forest. Then, for one moment, the fire changes. It was plain old fire before, but then, for one moment, and I swear I didn't hallucinate, it turned black and then became multicolored before becoming normal again. Within a few moments the police are there and the firefighters arrive. They couldn't put out the fire. A few weeks passed since that day. The police were oddly involved for people who didn't give a shit when a woman was raped to death. The media has gone crazy. Jason was labeled a pyromaniac. His body was never found. Most assumed it had vaporized in the heat. Another thing was that there were no other bodies. Even though I remember the shapes and screams. When people went to his friends for interviews, people lied through their teeth about how he was always disturbed. His own parents forgot all about the 4.0 GPA brilliant budding genius and labeled him a disturbed kid on drugs. Even his sister refused to defend him. For a while, I didn't know what happened. In his room, we found hundreds of drawings of odd symbols and hundreds of pages on the occult. Even I began to think he may have been driven mad. Then, I saw it. The media was going crazy. The police responded to every threat. People seemed so much brighter these days. And there wasn't a single report of dark, twisted things happening near what used to be the forest. Jason had rid the town of whatever had been terrorizing us for years. He had died an unsung hero. For 7 years, the forest never grew back. Even though the soil was fertile, the trees just didn't appear. Not even saplings. I took all of Jason's writings before his family could burn them, and I've tried to decipher them to no avail. I went to college, carried on his dream of becoming an engineer, and every year I came back to that same clearing and talked to Jason. Well, his spirit, I guess. All in all, despite Jason being branded a monster by his own family and becoming a villain of the town, I think he fixed everything. The sun was shining again. 2 weeks ago, I came back from college. The second I drove in, I felt it. A palpable fear. A cloudy sky. Reports of dead deer. Ah fuck Lord no. Gif. The first thing I did was rush to the clearing. Oh God. Saplings were everywhere. That small shrine I had made to Jason in the forest was gone. Oh fuck no. Not again. /x/. I don't know what happened last time, but last time it got too far. I don't even know how Jason got rid of it the first time, but it took him, a fucking genius, a year to find out what was wrong and fix it at the cost of his own life. I'm freaking out. I can't let Jason die in vain. I have his writings but no way to decipher them. I need help.